Okay, so this question we'll do on distancing. We've done a few things on distancing already, but we're going to add another question on it. People have been asking me about Wing Chun's range, and I think one of my old clips I talked about Wing Chun's range being this close. You want to get inside range and control someone in here. But what you see, and the reason I think a lot of fighters think Wing Chun doesn't work, is you see a lot of people doing Chi-Sao, and they seem to walk to this range and strike from here. This range isn't the range you want to be in, right? You also see people being defensive, where someone does a lap sao, and the person will move back into this range and be here, right? And then they'll fire back from here. This is not correct for my way of thinking, because this range here is where he has maximum power, right? So I never really want to walk into this position here. So if you look at, for example, the dummy, if Bill was the dummy, in the wooden dummy you'll come into the dummy, right? And you'll come into the dummy here, or you'll step off to the corner, right, for kicking range, right? What you don't want to be is in between. You don't want to be here. That's the range, that's like the killing zone. You don't want to be here, because this is where he can get maximum hip power and twist into here, right? So Wing Chun, when we talk about bridging, the idea of bridging is actually to bridge past this position and get in to this range, to in close range. So in terms of Chi-Sao, I don't want to move out into that range, because he's got good power there. I'm not controlling him. I want to control his structure, I want to get into his structure and come forward, or I want to be able to move his hands and come into this position here where I'm controlling this range. Now if he swings at me here, I'm controlling his power and his balance. If I'm just out here, which is not a big difference, but here, he can twist and smash me from here, right? So I don't want to be there. I want to be in, or I want to be right out. Right? So I want to be out of the range, or I want to be in the range. I don't want to be in the middle. So when you do Chi-Sao, for me anyway, I want to either come in, or I want to come in to a position where I'm controlling this leg and controlling his body power. What I don't want to be is in a position where we're 50-50 in terms of I've just moved into an empty space. Right? This I think you see a lot because people do applications where they're not building any pressure. So if you're doing an application with no pressure, it's easier for Bill to be rolling me and I move here because he's not really trying that hard. He's just doing one technique at a time. And I come back and then he does something and I move. Yeah. That's not really how Chi-Sao should be trained in my mind. You know, for me, it has to be alive, have movement, use your power. And when you use your position, you want to come in and control that position. So when you're striking, you're in a position where you're affecting his balance. If you're not affecting his balance, then he has free rein to swing at you, to move at you. That's what we were trying to stop in Wing Chun. We're trying to stop the person having the ability to do what they want to do. We're trying to control their position. So when we come in, that position is neutralized. I'm putting weight into his leg, so when he tries to step, he can't step. And I get deeper, and I open the position up more. So that's going to lead us into how Chi-Sao develops into normal fighting, because if you're just doing Chi-Sao where you're doing stuff where I'm doing one technique, then waiting here, or moving here, I'm not really progressing what I'm trying to achieve. Right? I'm just doing an application of a drill. Right? That's not really what it should be developing. What I should be developing is coming in and finding my way in to that position of control, and then I can hit him. And then obviously he needs to be able to break that position, which is what we're going to do in our next clip. We're going to talk about why do we have this position of control, how do you get out of it, how does that develop in a fight. So we'll do that in the next clip. But what I want you to think about is your positioning of being either in, or being out. You know, so you have, you have a better defense to kick from, to re-enter, but you don't want to be in the killing zone. This killing zone is where you don't want to be here, you don't want to be here. Right? They're the two worst places to be.